There's a story here, and I ain't talking about the medical kind. Now listen, the first thing I want to say, and I mean this, is that this ain't some rant about women or beauty or whatever other nonsense passes for commentary these days on the Barstool circuit. This ain't no insult comic routine. This is a sermon on the mountain of silicone and salt. So gather round, because the moment someone says fake tits, you already know what's coming. You know the tone, the smirk, the little puffed-up swagger of some guy who's just discovered the biological difference between real and not real, and now he thinks he's Socrates. Let me tell you something. I've been around fake things most of my life. Fake IDs, fake friends, fake orgasms, fake apologies, fake cowboy hats, fake Christianity, fake patriotism, fake memories, and yes, fake tits. And I'll tell you what, the last ones, they're the least offensive of the lot. Because fake tits never promised to be anything but what they were. Ain't trying to save the world. Ain't trying to colonize your soul. Ain't sneaking into your dreams and whispering about how they're gonna raise your kids right or balance your checkbook or vote the right way. No, fake tits just sit there, unbothered, buoyant, suspiciously symmetrical, and people lose their damn minds. Now, first time I saw a pair of them up close, I was 17 years old and deeply underqualified. I'll leave the specifics to your imagination, but suffice it to say, I wasn't looking at M with the eyes of a philosopher, not yet. I was looking at M with the eyes of a 17-year-old whose experience with the female form up to that point was limited to National Geographic and scrambled Cinemax. But what struck me even then, and I mean this sincerely, was the audacity. The absolute performance of it. Not the tits themselves, mind you. The woman. Her whole demeanor. The way she stood like she was aware that gravity had just lost an argument with her. The way her posture was like, yeah, that's right. I paid for these. And that was the power. Not the tits, the ownership. You know who gets uncomfortable around fake tits? People who are uncomfortable around choice. People who think the body ought to be a certain way because God said so, or because natural is better, or because they, personally, are threatened by the idea that somebody could alter their form and not apologize for it. Well, here's a news flash for you, brother natural. Everything in modern life is fake. Your hair color's fake. Your beef jerky's fake. Your toothpaste is fake. Your cologne smells like pine tree genocide. And your car? Built from plastic, fantasy, and debt. But a woman gets some implants, and suddenly you want to stage a TED Talk on authenticity? Give me a break. Now don't get me wrong, I got questions. Like, why do they always come in sizes labeled like Starbucks drinks? Why is there no medium with room for regret? Or a grande but God will judge me? Or a double shot espresso of daddy issues? I'm just a skin for clarity. Because we got cup sizes that range from barely whispering to good luck walking upright, and somewhere in the middle is a woman just trying to feel like herself when she looks in the mirror. Because let's talk about that too. For every guy out here making wisecracks about bolt-ons, there's a woman who survived cancer, or childbirth, or abuse, or just bad luck in the genetic lottery. And she gets to choose. And sometimes that choice is silicone. And brother, let me tell you, that is the most American thing I've ever heard. And yet, somehow, we don't treat it that way. We treat it like scandal, like some moral failing. Like a woman put on a pair of sunglasses, and now she's walking around pretending to be the sun. And that's where the comedy curdles. That's where the joke turns bitter. Because the truth is, and I hate to say it, most people don't really mind a fake part. What they mind is the freedom. They mind that somebody got to say, you know what? I want these. I want more. I want different. I want to feel powerful when I walk into a room. I want to stop hiding my chest under layers of doubt and shame and medical tape and half-forgotten insults from high school gym class. They mind that, the audacity of it. And this is where Bernard gets a little tender. Because I've seen women fall apart inside over this stuff. I've seen them go under the knife with more courage than any of the men who judged them. I've seen them cry when the bandages came off, not because they regretted it, but because they finally saw a version of themselves they could love. And you want to call that fake? Brother, I've seen more fake in a church pew on Easter Sunday. Let's talk about real for a second, because you got this phrase out there, real women have curves. Okay, what about real women have trauma? What about real women have debt? What about real women have complex relationships with their bodies that cannot be summed up on a bumper sticker? What about that? And it ain't just women. Hell, I know men with calf implants. I know men who dye their hair so hard it looks like they've been baptized in printer ink. I know men who wear 6 layers of Spanx and a personality made of Red Bull and resentment. And they're out here Logan about fake tits. Please, the only fake thing in that room is your confidence. Now, let me be clear. I ain't saying all fake tits are good. Some of them are tragic. Some of them are like, ma'am, you've clearly consulted an architect who was under the influence. Some of them defy the laws of physics. Some of them are on bodies that already carry in too much of other people's shame. Because here's the truth, if you get M because you hate yourself, they won't fix it. If you get M because somebody told you weren't enough, you'll still be chasing their approval next year and the year after that, and every year until you stop checking your self-worth against someone else's reaction. But if you get M because you want to reclaim your body like a piece of stolen land, then God bless. Salute and carry on. You ever notice how the world only talks about fake tits from the outside? Never from the inside. Never asks what it's like to wake up and look down and say, these are mine now. Never asks how it feels when someone touches you and doesn't flinch. Never asks what it's like to go swimming and not feel like you have to hide. Never asks how the hell it feels. Because we're afraid to ask. Because it's easier to laugh. Because it's easier to reduce a whole life into a punchline about bounce and balance and silicone leaks. But I tell you what, every fake tit got a real story. And some of those stories would knock the air out of your chest. Last thing I'll say is this: the body's a canvas, not a commandment. You don't owe nature your loyalty. You don't owe the past your body. You don't owe nobody your symmetry. You don't even owe gravity a damn thing if you can afford to renegotiate the contract. And if one day you wake up and say, you know what? These A-cups ain't carry in the weight of my glory, then I say, go forth and be bountiful. Because in a world that takes so much from you without asking, sometimes the answer is to add. Add what makes you feel proud. Add what makes you walk taller. Add what makes you laugh in the mirror. And if some fool tries to call it fake, tell him Bernard said it's real enough to ruin his whole week. The punchline is this: it ain't about the tits. It's about who gets to say what's beautiful, who gets to own their body, who gets to rebuild what the world tried to break. And when the world's made of glass and lies and filters and secondhand opinions, sometimes the realest thing in the room is 2 symmetrical liars holding up a dress, and the woman behind them smiling like she just told the truth. And Lord, ain't that something?